All right. I am live. All right. While I wait on people to get in here, uh, I'm gonna be napping some arrow points or a arrow point. I don't have time to do two or three; it'll run too long. Uh, but arrowhead point like this one, except it's gonna be out of L8 bottle. There's somebody here. But but yeah, I'm gonna nap some glass, make some arrowhead points or a point, like I said. Uh, I've got all my stuff laying here. Hey, what's going on, Chad? What's up, man? You the first one here. I just now hit the button. Uh, I'm gonna talk about how to make some glass points while sitting in this hot garage. Show people how to get the bottom of the L8 bottle off. Uh, I just made this one out of flint. It's not perfect, but it would work. Made this scraper. This is out of flint. They use these. The Indians use these to scrape. Uh, they would use it to scrape hide and leather and uh, that type of thing. Scrape hair off. Cut stuff, cut wood and bark and that type of thing with it. Um, here's some other glass makes points out of. I actually found this piece in the creek. I don't know what it is. It's probably about a half or 3/4 of an inch thick. Makes really good arrowhead points out of that. And these pieces are small pieces off of a big nodule that I had. Make arrow points out of these. Uh, there's what's left of the big piece. Now this flint, this is probably one of the hardest flints that we have around here. It's called chit, and it's a Bearcat. It's a Bearcat to do anything with. It's so hard. The Indians had a really hard time. If you find arrow points or atlatl points or anything made out of breathed chert, and it's complete like this one. It's got everything in a full point and all of that. If you find any of them that's made of breathed chert, they're could potentially be worth a lot of money because this chert was so hard to work with. It was just horrible. They couldn't do anything with it. I don't think I have any other. I don't think I have any other flint laying here. Nope. Nope. It's all the flint that I've got. But yeah, but this stuff's really hard to do anything with. I just done that on a whim. spur of the moment type thing. Looks like there's somebody else in here. So there's somebody else. Trying to wait before I got started. See if anybody was going to watch. But I'll go ahead and talk about some of my tools I got here. This is what it's called, a bopper. I made this one. It's made out of a handle off of something. Not sure what it was. I think it was like a keyhole saw for like drywall or something. But it's inch and a quarter copper cap. Got lead. About this much of it's got lead in this end of it. And then I just mounted it on this with epoxy and 2 little nails. And that's made to bop off the edge of your flint or your glass or whatever it is that you're napping. And this, I made this out of a screwdriver and a piece of copper ground wire. It was a Craftsman screwdriver is what it was. But it made a really good pressure flaker, and you just use this for small flakes, pressure flakes. And anytime you do any napping, you need a piece of leather to keep the glass and the flint. It's as sharp as glass or sharper. It'll cut you just as easy as glass will. But you need a piece of leather to keep that stuff out of your hands and out of your knee or wherever it is that you're working with it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to be using for this little project. I'm going to make a point out of the bottom of this L8 bottle. So, because it's relatively flat and it's pretty thick. Now these are the returnable ones. These are the non-returnable ones. And they're really thin and cheap, and I already knocked the bottom out of that one. But the returnable ones are really thick. And I use a drill bit or a nail or anything straight and steel will work to knock the bottom out of this. You just drop it down in here. The cutting end first. Drop it down in there like that. And all you gotta do is shake it. And I'm gonna shake it over top of this workbench here. That way, hopefully I don't drop it and bust it. But just cap your thumb over the top of it. And shake it. And the bottom of it will come right off. Just like that. And that is how you knock out the bottom of an L8 bottle. Really easy, simple, quick. And you don't have to bust the whole bottle and get glass everywhere. You can just take the bottom of it off and keep the rest of it all in one piece. But yeah. And hopefully you guys can see this. I'm working with limited mobility here. And you can see how thick this is. I'd say it's close to a 1/4 inch thick. But and it also it broke the some of this stuff's really hard to explain, so I'm just going to do the best I can. But it already brought this side off, and it brought this side off. So I'm going to try to make my point here, and then make the base down here, because it's already shaped like a point. So got my leather. You always got to use the leather, because hitting this stuff, you do not want to you don't want to hit this, because you will drive a sliver of glass to the bone. I know, I've seen me do it, and it's not fun at all. I'm gonna try to fix this camera so you guys can see what I'm doing here, and still see me too. But hold the glass on the palm of your hand, on your thumb, and then put your leather on it and hold it like that. But you always want to be hitting into the palm of your hand. You don't want it hanging over. If you can see it, see how this is hanging over? You don't want to hit it in it like that. You want it to be flush and flat on your hand. That way you can just take off little pieces at a time. But I'm just going to use this and work out the rough shape of the point, and then I'll go to the pressure flaker and do the finer detail work. And when you hit this, you want to hit, I'm trying to get the angle right, you want to hit down and in at the same time, to push the flake off and towards the center. Now see that one little hit that I did there? Brought this off. Right off the bottom. And you want to go around the outside edge and get the thicker bevel off of it too. That'll make it a lot easier later on. And if anybody ever tries this, be sure you do it outside. Glass dust is not good to breathe. It's got silica dust in it, and it's really bad for you. And I've never done this live on YouTube, so hopefully I don't mess it up and have to start over. But it wouldn't be the first time it happened. I broke it in half, but ain't no big deal. I got more bottles. Never got the notification. I wonder why. I never got notifications for anything. Seems like everything that happens anymore, I don't never get a notification for it. But I just broke my first piece in half, so I have to start over. Yeah. And my neighbors. So yeah, got another fresh bottom here to start with. No, I broke it in half. I couldn't use it anymore. I mean, I could have made a smaller point out of it, but I broke it in half. But it happens with glass. Happens all the time. I've broke more than I've made, so starting to. Hey, there's Yankee. What's going on, Yankee? Half the size of a dime. Yeah, I ain't that skilled yet. My smallest one's probably the size of a quarter. Uh, Here's one that I made out of some flint earlier today. Uh, it's not perfect, but it could be used. I could use it if if I had to. And but so I'm gonna start over with this piece and see if I can not break it this time. It's really hard to do this so you guys can see without seeing me. No flint, man. I pick up flint by the truckload. It's everywhere in the creek here, everywhere, all over the place. There's flint. There's flint nodules galore. And I think there's four different types of flint that I can find around here. Breath at Church, one of them, which is horrible to work with because it's so hard. You can heat treat it. This here's a piece of Breath at Church that's been heat treated, and trying to take a piece of it off. It's just horrible. It's not fun at all. Train yard, yeah, for the out of the rock, out of the gravel. There's a lot of that around here. I think I got a piece of glass in my mouth. Hey, there's Burnwood in the house. I've actually got 9 people in here. That's really surprising. I'm trying to keep from breaking another one of these, so if I go silent for just a minute, it's because I'm in deep concentration, and I'm bad accident prone, and I've got a one-track mind, so if I go silent for a minute, that's what I'm doing. I've got to knock some of this off here so I can get this down to size here. I've had a lot of people asking me to do this, especially the trick that, yeah, glasses, yeah, I can't see with them on, and it's really hot and I'm sweating, and it just, I did get a piece of this in my eye one time. I had to go to the hospital and they had to get it out. But hopefully that don't happen. Yeah, I'm not a safety person at all. But what I'm doing, I'm just going all the way around. just taking off pieces all the way around, and it's hard to see it, but I've knocked this off all the way around here. So once I go all the way around, then I'll flip it over and take off the other side, and then I'll come down. Then I'll come down each side and get my rough outline of my point. That is. And just a little technique for somebody that's, I hate that highway, for a little technique for somebody that's wanting to maybe learn how to do this. What's up, CR? It's very hard to get just right. I've been doing this for about 6 years now, and every time I do it, I learn something. And the thing about it is, there's no two pieces of material exactly the same. Nothing's going to chip the same. Nothing. You'll never take two chips the same. Every chip you take will be different. Every single one of them. And it's really frustrating because, but you get to where you can look at something like flint glass, not so much. But you can look at flint and kind of know which way to hit it and know which way it's going to go sometimes, and then sometimes it just busts in half, and then you have to start all over. But it can be very aggravating. Very, very aggravating. Yeah, I've already cut mine. I got a lot of awesome people watching me do this. This is pretty cool. Yeah, the Indians, man, they were got a lot of respect for the Native American people. By looking at me, you can't tell it, but my great-grandmother was a full-blooded Cherokee Indian. And I've got a lot of respect for the ways that they did things, and you know, the way they survived around here, which a lot of the Indians that were around here, a lot of them was just passing through. That's very true, Yankee. I look nothing like an Indian. I'm extremely white and fat, but I'm a quarter Cherokee Indian because my great-grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee, and she was pretty awesome. All right, guys. So I got this worked down on both sides. Now I'm going to take and come down this side and try to get the shape of my point that I want. I know you guys can't hardly see, but maybe you can. And also too, if you're wanting to learn how to do this, glass is a really good thing to learn with because it naps really easy, and you can kind of get a feel for what you're doing, and then kind of graduate on up to flint, because if you start out doing this with flint, you're going to get frustrated, and what a lot of people don't know is that when the Indians made things out of flint, they heat treated it, which makes it easier to work with. And if you just go out into the creek and you find a piece of flint and you try to bust it and knap it and stuff like that, I mean, yeah, you can do it, but it's not the way that it was originally done. The Indians would heat treat their flint, and they bury it under the fire and leave it, for many hours and let it heat treat. But and that's really hard to do. I've tried to do it, and I put 20 pieces of flint under the fire, and 2 of them comes out really heat treated, really good. But for the most part, it don't work. It makes it brittle, but the heat treating process is pretty hard. So I recommend probably atlatl points. I make a lot of atlatl points because I make atlatls and atlatl spears and stuff. But I made a few spear points. They turned out pretty good. But yeah, probably atlatl points is my favorite point to make. And the only reason I like to make them is because I make atlatls too, so it kind of goes hand in hand with each other. I made some bird points, some arrow points here a while back. They turned out pretty good. They were small. They were probably I tried to make a flint knife one time, and I got about halfway done, and I broke it in half, and I kind of got discouraged with it. Yeah, I was probably half or 3/4 of the way finished with it, and it broke in half. It looked like you had just cut it with a saw. It was perfect cut. Huh. There ain't no flint in Pennsylvania? I think that's what that said. Yeah. There's quite a bit of flint around here. The farther west you go, or the farther northwest you go, you'll find a lot of flint. But if you go too far, then you stop finding it. But around here, it's everywhere. There's a lot of flint here. I'm still chipping away here, guys. Trying to take it slow, that way I don't bust it. Cause this is all practice. It's all practice. I am a professional by no means whatsoever. Uh, there's a lot that I don't know, and I don't claim to know much of anything, but all of this is a learning experience. Like I said, every time you do this, you're going to learn something new, and every piece of material that you pick up is every piece you pick up is going to be different in some way. So I'm starting to get a triangle here. That's what you want to go for, is a triangle. There's him and the gang in here. Hey guys. But so yeah, I've got a triangle here now. I'm going to take off just a little more of this tip, get it on down to where it needs to be, and then I'm going to go to the this is the scary part here. This is when it gets down to where you're afraid you're going to break it. This is going to be, I'm going to make this is going to be a really big point too. So I'm going to make it a big point. That way you guys can, you can see it. That way it's not so tiny on the camera here. But here's my triangle. This is going to be the outside of my point. And like I said earlier, for some of you guys that wasn't here at the beginning, if you do this with yes, this will cut you. This is extremely sharp. But like I said earlier, if you do this with glass, please do it outside or somewhere. Don't do this in your house or anywhere. I'm in my garage, but there is yeah, that's the next step. But don't do this in your house with glass. Silica dust is hello, John. Silica dust is really bad for your lungs. It's not good at all. So do this outside, so you're not breathing this dust. I'm done with the bopper. Now I'm going to use my pressure flaker. Yes, I use a pressure flaker. This is one I made out of a screwdriver handle and a piece of copper rod. I don't use the big long ones. I haven't really used one of those yet. I just use this one. I've been meaning to make me one of the longer ones that you hit with the bopper. Yeah, Ishii stick. I just haven't got around to it yet. I'm gonna make my. I'll kind of show you what I plan on doing here. I don't know if it'll work or not, but some of your arrow points, some of them come in from the side like this one, and then some of them come in from the corners like this. Different Indian tribes made them different ways. I don't know the particular name for them. Did somebody ask the question? Yeah. The piece of yeah, M's right. This is a piece of leather, and I use this on my leg. That way, whenever I hit it, it don't drive the glass down into my leg. And then I use the same piece when I do the pressure flaking in my hand. That way that I don't push the glass into my hand. And just so you guys know how I do things and how I work, I'm all about doing things on the cheap. And this is a piece of, you see that red leather blob right here? That is an old recliner, and I cut it up and used the leather off of it, so it's free leather, and I've got an abundance of it. And I don't throw anything away, if you can tell by looking in my garage. There's Florida Pirate. How you doing, man? Thanks for stopping in. I don't throw anything away, ever. I'm a bad hoarder, I guess you could say. But I believe in reusing things and repurposing, yeah, things. But yeah, leather's always a old couch leather, yeah. I don't throw anything away. I keep everything. See, that's what happens when you go too far. But I can still use it. Just make a smaller point out of it. And anybody that's done flint knapping knows that things break, especially glass. So I'm just going to make a smaller point now. It's the only choice I have. But it won't be that much smaller. Blacksmithing, yeah. Me and my stepdad, we do a lot of blacksmithing and stuff. I just never video anything of it. You'll have to make some videos of that, Em, and let us see what's going on with that. I really like blacksmithing. So I just knocked it down to a smaller point. It's all good. Back to the pressure flaker here. I'm gonna try to hurry up and get this done. That way you guys aren't held up watching me. Yeah, nice save. I just made a smaller point. But those things happen. Yeah, when you start hurrying, that's when you mess up. I know it's hard for you guys to see what I'm doing here, but thanks for sharing that for me. And just taking off little chips, pushing down and in at the same time. You go up one side, come down the other, and then flip it over, do the same thing again, and that'll make your sides nice and even and straight, and it'll make your cutting edge center. Nobody likes a, hey Kim, thanks for stopping in. Really appreciate it. Alright, go back down the other side. That ought to put my edge back up in center. See that? I don't know if you can see it or not. That's what hurts right there. You just have to grind away at it. So here's starting to be a point. I've got to take this piece off and take off some humps. That piece. Yeah, starting to look more like an arrow point now. Blue glass, I love blue glass. I'll have to show you guys my collection of blue glass sometimes. I've tried to make some out of the old blue glass. Right here, wood pigeon. I just hardly ever use it. I don't know. I do things backwards, man. But I use it a lot I use it a lot on flint. Glass, not so much. And yeah, the blue glass is really, really, really fragile. It just busts and shatters all into pieces. So here's my point. I've got to put I'm gonna start and put my nocks in here, and then I'm gonna go back around and straighten up my edges. I made some out of I've actually got it in my eye before and had to go to the hospital and have it taken out. Not fun at all. Not fun at all. Now, whenever I do the nocks on these, I'll chip it on one side, flip it over, chip it on the other side, back and forth, back and forth. And this is the part that really scares me, because this is where you'll mess up and break it in half if you're not careful. But this glass works pretty good. Like I said, if you're just wanting to learn how to do this, glass would be that sounds really painful. A wire out of a wire wheel in your eye, that could potentially blind you, without a doubt. Here's what it's looking like. Starting to get a knock up in here. So yeah, got a knock on one side. I'm gonna turn around and start on the other side, and try to get them to match. Now, there's a lot of really, really awesome people in here. I really appreciate you guys stopping in, watching me do this, and supporting my channel. I really appreciate it. Got some really cool people watching. Really means a lot to me. When it starts being stubborn is when you start messing up. My down home, yeah, I'm pretty laid back kind of person. I try to be straightforward and as honest with people as I can. You know, I do this. This is all I do. I do my YouTube channel, and that's pretty much all I do is YouTube and stuff like that. I'm the same person on camera as I am off camera. I don't try to be something that I'm not, because you never know. One of these days we may run into one another and everybody be like, well, he's a totally different dude in real life. So I try to be as honest as I can with people. Almost finished here, guys. Got a few more. Here's what it's looking like right now. It's getting closer. Don't like much more. I'm gonna call that quits because I've got a usable point, and once you get that feeling that you're gonna start breaking it, you should stop. So I'm at that point, but here's what I got. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone. It's not perfect, but for some reason it's not showing these points right here. But that's it. It looks like a little Christmas tree. I don't know. There's a better picture of it. But I've got a few more minutes, so I'm going to work on it just a little bit more. Just because I'm not satisfied with that. Alright, that's a little better. Made it a little more square across here. Yeah, I know, I always do that. I have that feeling that I'm going to break it, but then there's always that one little piece that you too, Florida Pirate. You too, man. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. There's always that one little piece that you have to work with. All right, I'm done. There's the finished point. And it's probably one of the worst points that I've ever made, to be honest with you. It's an arrow point, but it's far from awesome. It's not. I mean, it would kill. Yeah, it would kill, without a doubt. But I'm just. That's probably the worst one I've ever made. I'll probably have to do like a redemption stream again to redeem myself and make a better one than that. I don't have any that I've already made out here. They're all inside. This is a flint point that I made, if some of you guys didn't get to see it. I made this one out of flint. Uh, no, I'm not that hard on myself. I strive to do the best that I can, but that's all you can do. And yeah, the green one is better than the flint one. Uh, this is the breath at church flint that I was talking about. Here's a big piece of it that this came off of, and this stuff's ridiculous to do anything with. I mean, you can see how the end of this is bent, like the whole piece is bent over. I've bent it, and it's horrible to work with. It's so hard to work with. You can't hardly do anything with it. It won't flake off. It crushes. Well, I appreciate the good words, guys. Really do. That's a really good idea. I could send this to someone. I don't know who I would send it to though. I guess just pick a random person and send it to them. That'd be kind of cool. I may work on that here in a little bit and send it to somebody. Send it to somebody that was. "15 people in the room, pick a number." What's a 200 drawing? I don't know what that is. So somebody explain to me what a 200 drawing is. I'd be happy to send somebody these. Okay, a 200. Yeah, a 200. Yeah, okay. I follow you now. I had a brain fart there for a minute. I got you. Yeah, I could do that. Or I could just give it to somebody in the stream right here and then do it again at 200 or something, or give somebody an atlatl or something at 200. I need to do a video on atlatls. Let's see. Is there anybody watching this that would like to have a arrow point? Chad said he wants one. Okay. So everybody wants one. Okay. How about this? I'll do another live video sometime this week, and I'll make some more of these, and I'll do another live video one night this week. I'll let you guys know a couple days ahead of time, but I'll make some more of these, and I'll do another live video, and I'll give as many away as I have. And I'll give as many away as I have to everybody that comes in and views Uh, I'll give one. I'll give as many away as I've got. I'll put it like that. So that's what I'll do. I'll do another live stream one day this week, and I'll make a bunch more of these, and I'll start giving them to people. Uh, I'll start giving them to people in the chat room. Does that sound okay to everybody? So that's the plan, and I'll let you guys know ahead of time. I'll post it on Twitter and and just let everybody know when it's coming. That way, if you want a arrow point, uh, uh, you can come in and watch the stream. And if you're in here, then we'll do some type of trivia questions or drawing or something other, and you guys, I'll send y'all out one. But I'm over an hour and 2 minutes. But I'm gonna shut this bad boy down and call it quits for this stream. I can't believe it's already been over an hour. It only seems like a few minutes. You too, Yankee. Thanks for stopping in, man. I really do appreciate you being in here. Thank you, guys. I will see you guys on the next one. I really appreciate everybody in here. Uh, really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Everybody keep their eye peeled for the update for the stream coming up this week. Next time.